Good afternoon, morning, evening, everybody. It's Dean here from Maverrik. We are testing out our new studio. You may have seen some hints to it. And I'm joined by the infamous Luke Tew.
Infamous.
Infamous.
I mean, yeah, you've probably seen me from some sales videos, lingering about on the internet.
The best bit is, Luke, is your sales videos. I know you filmed them in like a little cupboard in our office on this green screen that's just as wide as him. And one of the reasons we launched the studio was really so that you could do better videos.
Yeah, obviously you could only see about half of my body during a lot of the videos, and I couldn't stretch my arms out further than a certain distance. So my gestures were kind of like not, what's the word, like nerfed. I couldn't really like do anything. I had to do like very slow movements. But now we've got like a whole wall. It's going to be amazing.
So what we're going to do is we're going to use this studio to go live as often as we can, but we're also going to produce stuff that will help you in your business and growing your business and all that kind of stuff. But I wanted to do a 3D tour, but we're not kind of there yet. This is kind of the first kind of run through.
Yeah.
So the aim is that we're going to be going live every other day in December, and then probably we'll roll that out into the new year. And we will have guests. So if there's something going on in your business and you're going, I'd love somebody to get some insight on that, we'll pull in guests, whether they're sat socially distanced there or there, we will have guests. And I'm not going to be the star of the show, not every day. We're going to have different guests, and Luke's going to be taking on some of it. So
head honcho role for a moment.
So this is totally unscripted, by the way, which is, my MO. So Luke, tell us about some of the stuff that we are thinking about for these lives.
So essentially what this is going to be is more of a, it's still going to be business related, helping people from problems, talk about, stuff that life throws at you in a sense when you're a business owner and when you're just as a general person. But it's more of a lighter approach to what we do regularly.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some just mostly advice, just conversations. It can be pretty much anything we want it to be in a sense. We just kind of want to generate conversations, really, don't we?
Yeah, and I think I can't remember who, it may have been Gary Vee who said it, that every business is now a media company.
Yeah. You
have to be able to produce content, you have to be able to appear doing videos. Gone are the days where you could just rely on phone calls people ringing you up and saying, hey, can you make me a widget or something? Yeah. You have to really kind of be out there, and at some point we're going to talk about the risks of being out there, right?
Yeah, at some point. You can't have your face everywhere without having a few people go, oh no, not them again.
Yeah, and there's one video, you should go have a look at it. It's somewhere on our YouTube channel, and it's Luke, and he starts the video by going, hey, what was the line from that? We did it like a YouTube ad.
Oh, right, yeah. You may remember me from such adverts as this one and this one right now. I think you put it well, because that's basically it's going to be an advert that's go out to everywhere. So people could be looking for anything. And obviously, as long as they are target market, they're going to see my face. So a lot of people aren't going to be happy about that.
But thankfully, it's not my face; it's his.
Exactly.
So this is going to be something a bit interesting. We will take live comments as we go. If there's people watching this is the first one, so we're not going to do kind of a Q&A. It's really just to kind of introduce it and go, yeah, we're going to do this. And Luke had a question he was going to share with me, and I'm not sure exactly how to answer it, but do you want to ask it anyway?
Is it the inspirational one or the other one?
The one about
which says, why have you done this now? It's during a pandemic, everyone's huddled in.
Yeah, so while it sounds pretty crazy, and just so that you're aware, by the way, me and Luke are socially distant here. We've got multiple cameras so that we can fit on screen.
Fit on me.
If we'd have done this previously, we would have ended up with two of us side by side, but we can't do that because of, COVID. And Luke doesn't like me that much, really. I like my own jokes. They're not very funny, but I like them.
Am I here just so I can laugh along?
Yeah, you're like my sympathy laugh. Why did we do it for years and years we thought we needed a studio. We needed a space that we could do videos. It was frustrating, the fact that you'd use a room and the video people, the light's not good in here, the sound isn't good in here, and all of these different things. And then literally, as the kind of summer was ending, the building next door to our offices in Plymouth became available. So we said, now is not going to be another time. We've got a long lease on the building. So we said, we either do it now or risk the space going somewhere else. So we literally did it. And at the end of September, had a ton of people working in here to refurb it, to have it ready for today.
I like to think next year you sort of get the next office over, and the year after. So far, we just got the entire estate.
Yeah.
So we've got Maverrik estates.
Yeah, that would be cool, but a lot of it cost.
Obviously. Can you imagine?
Yeah, we could all have 1,000 square foot each.
You could have Universal Studios.
So it was one of those things that we just said, now is the time, because the opportunity's created itself. And yes, there was a whole load of reasons why we shouldn't and couldn't. But it was like, what happens if somebody else takes the space? What happens if they take the space and then we end up in a situation where we can't do this? We've got a long lease on our building. Should we just do it? So we did, and said, let's make it work.
Yeah, obviously we'll probably save a lot of time with the setting up and setting down, because obviously the space we were using currently was just like an office space, a meeting room, in a sense. And what we would do is we'd have to take everything from our office space away and then do an entire setup with green screen, and then at the end of the day turn it down. So that's probably about 4 hours of a day right there just for setup.
Yeah.
So having the studio on its own will just save probably hours and hours of time.
Yeah. So we'd love to have some guests on as well. So if you've got an interesting story to tell, if you've got perhaps an experience through the pandemic or an experience in business that you think would be interesting for other people, we'd really love to have you on as a guest. We're still perfecting all of the technology and all of the different gadgets involved here. But we can live link you in. If you're not a million miles away and you're comfortable doing a socially distanced interview, we can do that on site. But the idea being is that these lives that we're running will be of value to you. I know this is kind of like a bit of a chit chat today and introducing it and setting the stage, setting the studio. If you've never met me before, by the way, I have the most terrible jokes. I mean, they're horrific, but I seem to enjoy them.
That's why I'm here.
And Luke's going to be doing some of them. I'm going to be doing some of them. We're going to have some of our team in, and hopefully some of you guys who are going, this is something that I've learned through business that can help somebody else, as well as we'll probably critique some of the things that are happening in the business world at the moment.
Yeah, we'll go through the news and people bitching about different things that we do, little things,
But, it's a bit of fun, it's a bit of interest, it's a bit of a distraction at lunchtime as well. And if you've got questions and you think, hey, this would be a great idea, we'd love some of your nice feedback, internet world.
It's hard to keep things light, isn't it, during this sort of time? Because everyone's trying to do the, haha, yeah, this is all,
Well, the problem is with this whole COVID thing is how do you make light of it and somebody not construe it as being insensitive?
Yeah, that's the whole thing. Because you can see it on, obviously, with the panel shows, even though they're still socially distanced, they don't really make jokes about the pandemic. They sort of try and look further. So that's kind of what this kind of be in. It'll be a distraction, just something to look forwards to.
Yeah. So I had this question I put on Facebook over the weekend, on my personal Facebook. I said, what's one thing that one good thing that's happened to you during 2020? And I got, spent time with family and all of these things. Because, if you just focus on all the miserable stuff, you'll be jumping off a bridge or something. And somebody said, it's got the Facebook friend of mine, Kirk, he said, I'm alive. And then I said, you have to take my humour. And I said, it's still only November. And he went, very true. So, you have to kind of make light of this stuff. I know, it's horrific and some people are going through real difficult battles, but for your own sanity, you kind of have to do it. And everyone
copes with stuff differently, which is worse. Because whenever I see something in a movie, which is obviously very terrible, my gut reaction is to laugh at the absurdity of it, and even know how bad it can be.
Yeah.
And that can come across as really bad. Because when all of a sudden someone tells you something and then I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I do that laughing face.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't work as well as you want it to.
Yeah, and we've all got, I think after this, whenever this ends, I think we're all going to have to kind of reassess, like, not only what's important. I think the pandemic has kind of forced us to really think what matters.
A lot of that's remodeling bathrooms and living rooms because we've spent some more time at home.
Yeah. I was doing that at the weekend, moving furniture around and everything because I'd fed up with the same layout. Also bought this huge Christmas tree that doesn't even fit in our house, so we had to prune the top of it to try and get it in. But the resilience of your business now is even more important, to bring it to kind of a serious point in that nobody ever thought something like this could happen. And I don't think we'll ever go back to thinking that this will never happen again.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more, I won't say safety nets, but there's going to be a lot more consideration of, what if this happens? What if this happens? Because you always say, if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, who's going to deliver these lives? And we're all like, yeah, sure. So we've all trained and we've got, great people behind you as well. So if you did get hit by a bus, Maverrik can still continue to, grow and develop.
So they're all thinking about me getting hit by a bus.
I think that's what you took from that.
So if you find us mildly entertaining, whether to laugh with or at, we are pleased that we are giving you some entertainment, but also we want to share some good stuff that will help you in your business, help you learn something new or think about something in a different way. And we're going to try and experiment with this. So be internet world who are easily provoked. Be gracious in that we're figuring this all out on the fly and developing it as we go. Amy, while building your network on LinkedIn, should you grow wide in the thousands or small number but targeted? So, Amy, you are our first question of our lives. So this is kind of you get a special badge. Let's make a badge.
Make it a badge.
No, Amy, really good point. It's both. Yeah, it's build a large audience of people who are connected to or are the decision makers who can buy from you. It's both. So if you go down the route of saying, it's quantity over quality, that is a total false argument. You want quantity and quality, both. So yes, don't necessarily fill your LinkedIn up with any old person, even if, just for numbers' sake. That's the wrong way to think about it. But you want a large volume of potential customers, because I'm assuming whatever business you're in, you want it to grow and keep growing. So you need to have enough relationships and enough connections to be able to build trust with a lot of people so that you can generate a lot of business over the next year, next 5 years, next 10 years, right?
Yep, that's true. If you're thinking about it on social media wise, if you're too, stingy with who you connect with, you're like, I don't want to connect with that person because they don't have a certain job role that you think would be a potential customer. In the future, that could, perform better for you.
Yeah.
So you can't be too picky. You can get both. You can get both best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You can have the quality and the quantity.
And funny, Luke mentions there about the job titles. Every business, absolutely every business has a different job title structure. So if you go, I only want, finance directors, but then you might find that actually head of finance for some companies is the same job, or even finance manager is the same job. Or CFO in a small company might be the same as a finance director. So it's really...
I'm pretty sure one of us had head of moon-based operations, so one of our titles once, just as a joke for a week.
That was you, wasn't it?
I think it was... It was Bradley, yeah.
Bradley, head of moon-based operations. So, the titles, don't focus too much. Don't obsess about it, but try and capture a net of people who are potential customers. I wouldn't get hung up on it. And I've seen people do this on LinkedIn, that they don't connect with anybody until they've got the list that they want to connect with, just perfect. And meanwhile, life's moving on and you're doing, not you, Amy, but people are doing nothing. So I wouldn't focus too hardly on it, but I would connect quantity and quantity.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being our first question as well. We've not had questions before, but we've never done this before either.
I think I'll go on in the future. You can ask any type of questions you want, our favourite colour, or keep it going.
Yeah.
What's the plans for the studio in the future? Obviously, when things have gone away, what's your plans for the studio?
So I want to do more active stuff. I want to do some more move around stuff. We'll do some live training in here as well. It's just logistically difficult with social distancing to do the kind of move around, like let's wander over here and do stuff like that. That's quite tricky.
So we can have a weatherman in the corner there, just
weatherman over there. Yeah. No, but we'll do. This is kind of a sit down stuff. We might do some stuff. We'll have some guest stuff. We could have some more chilled out stuff. The idea being is that people watching it get some value that they can go and take away and use, but also get another take on what's going on in the business world. There's lots of new shiny marketing and sales things being promoted, and if we think they're good, we'll probably tell you about them, and if we think they're not so good, we'll probably say why we think they're not so good. The one rule we kind of have here is that we won't rip into somebody or a person. That's a big deal for me. Social media has become rife with people who think that it's okay to take pot shots at other people.
We're not allowed to cancel anyone.
Particularly people they don't even know. And it really bugs me that people can have such an attitude on social media that they are, rude to other people.
Yeah, one of my go-to things when I'm trying to make with sales videos is I want to make them more of like, obviously I'm taking the mick out of someone who's tried to sell me something in a poor way, but I never want it to be in, I don't want there's no venom behind it.
No, at the end of the day, even if somebody's doing a sales pitch and they're doing it badly, they're just people trying to earn a living.
Yeah, that's why I take it. So I'll just give some advice on how they could have done it better. I mean, unless they're scammers, because if they're scammers, swear word. but yeah, it's more of a commentary of, okay, you should try and do this approach instead. But in terms of going at someone solely for just trying to make a living or trying to sell or using certain tools, it's what's wrong with just trying to do your job in a sense?
Yeah. I mean, I think our mission is to help. It says on our website, our key mission is to help 1 million businesses grow, and that's tricky. That's a big, scary, huge goal. But if you don't get anywhere without having huge goals, and you don't get anywhere ripping people apart. And so, whilst we're going to critique some things, one thing we always do is we don't critique and make it personal.
Yeah.
So. But, each to their own.
After enough episodes, I guess, because when you do something daily, we're going to start to get, into a flow of things. Yeah. Right now, I'm full of nervous energy, you could probably tell.
I thought that was just the cold.
It is quite chilly, and you're like, this is the coldest day we've had for, weeks so far down in Plymouth.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, it just hit, and there has to be the one time when we did the show.
Yeah.
We're starting it out.
What you can't see is Luke is buried in hot water bottles under the table.
I asked for a pillow to warm up the seat before I sat down, and I got called a diva.
So please do bear with us. Come back when we next live Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
And I'm not here on Wednesday. Oh, I am on here on Wednesday. So I'll be here with Luke on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about Luke.
You're talking about me. I had a plan, but it's in the diary. It could be anything.
It could be anything. But what I'd really like to talk about is, if you're watching this, I'd like to talk about some social media messages that work and some social media messages that suck. And we're going to go through them, hopefully, Luke, if that's all right.
Yes, we'll check it.
So, social media messages that work, social media messages that suck. And we'll go through that on Wednesday,
yeah.
Same time, 12:15. We will be live again, 12:15 till 12:30. And you can join us and learn about the messages that work and the ones that don't work, so you can either stop doing or start doing. And And anything else we need to cover today, Luke, before we wrap up?
Yeah, if you're watching this on a replay, don't forget to add some of your comments to this video if you want, and then we'll answer your questions in the future. Like obviously we demonstrated, we're open to questions coming in. So if it's not on topic, if you skip past them, we will go to them for the next video if it's a topic we want to cover. But don't be afraid to get involved, chat to us, and ask questions, no matter what they could be, because there's no such thing as a stupid question when it comes to anything when you're trying to learn.
And I got one more final thing to say. The crown is not real, by the way. Apparently, lots of people have been sending hate mail to Buckingham Palace over The Crown season 4, which is fascinating to watch if you haven't seen it. It's a random comment, I know, but
I remember watching. I saw a news article about a woman very upset about one of the scenes on the.
Yeah. So just a key point. It shows you the power of media in any form, whether it be social or content in any form. In that Netflix obviously produced The Crown, which is a dramatisation and fictionalisation of the actual royal family, and they filled in the gaps in the story to the point where they assessed it was something like 60% fiction.
Yeah.
And of course, Prince Charles comes off worse for wear in season 4, and they've actually been getting hate mail, even though Netflix says it's fictionalised. So the government's now lobbying Netflix to put this is actually fiction.
Oh, so they have to make sure that they put it so it's not.
Because obviously it makes Prince Charles and Camilla look like really cruel to Diana.
I would love it if they just decided to say no, but then made it even more, they went over the top with it. So all of a sudden you've just got UFOs coming down over Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, Prince Charles decides to overthrow the Prime Minister. No, but it really does highlight the power of media, that just getting a message out there, it can be used, in this scenario, it's people not joining the dots, that obviously Netflix doesn't know what was said in intimate conversations between people. Yeah. But actually people believe everything that's said in some instances.
I want to keep this show going until we have our own conspiracy theorists about our show.
Do you know, I've actually had a conspiracy theorist attack me on LinkedIn.
About you?
Yeah. Saying that I wasn't real.
Oh, I've had that about me as well. It's like all these people are fake accounts.
Yeah, I'm not real. So I this is all AI. I'm not a real person, and there's no Maverrik doesn't even exist.
Yeah, so if people feel like the crown is real, like all this stuff happened, imagine what we're going to say about us later on in the future.
No, I've been accused of not being real.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Say something an AI wouldn't say.
I'm not real.
Reason 4 bus stops in the squares.
So thank you for watching this mad ramble today. Hopefully you'll get to see the way we're approaching this. We want it to be very conversational, very informal. And you'll bear with us as we get used to this format and get it out there. And any last questions?
When I'm more comfortable, I'll start talking a little bit slower as well, so that'll be fun. You can understand what I'm saying at the same time.
Absolutely fine, Luke. So also, just to wrap up, if you want to have a bit of a giggle, go watch Luke's sales fails videos. They're really fun. And we will see you on Wednesday, 12:15 for 15 minutes, where we'll be talking about the social messages that can really win you business and help you, and the ones that will turn people off. So thank you so much for watching. We are wrapping up right now, and we'll see you on Wednesday.